Now, this is the book of 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 14. I'll start at, let me start. So, 1 Kings chapter 11, verse... I'll just start at 14 because I was reading and I'll be like, nah, I gotta explain too much. So let me read it. I already did a video about this, by the way, about this whole chapter. But anyway, so it says here, 1 Kings 11 and 14. And Yahweh stirred up an adversary unto Solomon, Hadad the Edomite, which is actually a Syrian, but he was ruling over Esau at that time. And if you look up the Hebrew of the word in the verse, 2 Kings chapter 16, or was it 1 Kings chapter 16? I think it's 2 Kings chapter 16. You will see that it says Syrian there in the English and also in the Hebrew, but that's another verse. But in that chapter, it speaks about Aram and it speaks about Esau. And Esau was ruling over Aram. I explained it in the other video, Lord willing. Anyway, okay, so read it again. So he says, and Yahweh stirred up an adversary unto Solomon, Hadad the Edomite. He was of the king's seed, but there's another one. (25). So let me jump to 23. And Yahweh stirred him up another adversary, Rezon, the son of Eliadat, which fled from his lord Hadad-ezer, king of Zobab, which is also an Aram, because King David was fighting against the king of Zobab, and he smoked them. And then everybody that was with him, they ran away, right? I think that was it's in 1 Samuel somewhere. They ran away, and he was that man that ran away. And now he came back talking about, you killed my king. I'm trying to kill you. And it didn't work, but still, it was an adversary unto his son, King David, his son, which is Solomon. And verse 25, so 1 Kings 11:25. And he was an adversary to Israel all the days of Solomon, besides the mischief that Hadad did, and abhorred Israel, and reigned over Syria. So who was reigning over Aram? Who was reigning over Esau? Aram. He was the boss over them, because he put them there in the land in order to fight off Yahweh. This is Judah. They made him fight him off. The king of Aram put the Edomites there back in the land. There's many scriptures like let me see, first Kings 14, something like that, or 2 Kings 14, where it speaks at verse 30 or something, where it speaks that the Judites, they actually kicked out the Edomites out of the land at that time, and then Aram the king put them back there, and then they kicked out Judite, because the Judites started to sin, so they couldn't win wars anymore. So they started losing, and they started losing ground. And if you read here, let me read this one also for you. 1 Kings chapter 9, if I'm correct. There's a whole story behind it. Okay, 1 Kings chapter 9, verse 26. And King Solomon made a navy of ships in Ezion Geber, which is beside Eloth, on the shore of the Red Sea, in the land of Edom. So you have two places of the Red Sea. You have the Red Sea that springs out into Edom, and then you have the Red Sea that springs out into Mizraim. Right, is the same Red Sea, because, you know, it's the same Red Sea. If you look at the map, it's the same Red Sea, and it's called the Red Sea because I just read it for you. And the one in Mizraim is also called Red Sea. It's the same thing. Well, it's a different location from the same river. You know, Niagara Falls, if you follow the river of Niagara Falls, well, Niagara Falls, it's actually a falls, but I mean like the river of so-called Niagara Falls. If you go down the river, maybe 5, 6, 7 kilometers, they're not going to call that Niagara Falls, but it is the same river, because Niagara Falls is right there. And then when you move on, I think it's near Canada, and then when on the other side is Canada, and then when you move on, it's the same river, but they're not going to call it, the people that live in that region, they're not going to call it that. But that's a whole nother story. It's the same river, you know. They just focused on that false. But anyway, let me go on. So 1 Kings chapter 9 verse, well, 27 and 28, it goes into what they did there. But the reason why he was there is for traffic. Well, let me read verse 27. So 1 Kings 9:27. And Hiram sent in the navy his servants, shipmen that had knowledge of the sea, with the servants of Solomon. In 1 Kings chapter 5, it explains to you that Solomon didn't know. So Solomon, who had wisdom to rule over the people of Yahweh, Bashem Yahusha, of course. He had wisdom greater than anybody else. But even he had counselors. Because it shows you in the book of 1 Kings 12 that Rehoboam did not listen to the counselors of Solomon. This shows you that even as wise as King Solomon was, he always had a second person. So I think this. So what do you think? And the Most High has it too in 1 Kings chapter 22. He doesn't need your suggestions or advice or counsel. He just has it because he's the Most High. Anyway, as it is in heaven, so shall it be on earth. So just like how he has his counselors there, that's the way it's going to be on the planet Earth also when the Lord Yahushua is going to come back. It's not that he needs your guidance, like your counsel or something. But let me go on. I'm going into another topic. But he, the wisest king of Israel, and still he had counselors. This guy Trump, he's not taking counsel from no one. He's just making moves and doing stuff on himself. And the other Edomites say it too in the videos that I'm gonna put in the discussion box for you. They're angry because he doesn't take their advice. That's because, and if you read 1 Kings 12, if I'm correct, it shows you that it was the Most High that made, or was it 1 Kings 13 or 14? Look, just read 12, 13, and 14. But anyway, 12 or 13, 12, 13, and 14. Read those three, you will see that it said that Rehoboam did not take the wise men of his father's advice. He took the advice of the young men, which is terrible. But anyway, the young men was full of testosterone and they wanted to fight. The wise men was like, why would you do that? Just be kind, just be smart. Don't do that. But he didn't listen to them. But my point is that even a wise king as King Solomon also did have counselors to tell him like, hey, I don't think that was a good idea. Or maybe it is, and then glorify his idea, like, man, you really are the smartest and stuff like that. Wisest, I should say, because smart and wise are two different things. A smart man will know how to steal from a kingpin. A wise man wouldn't do it. Because he's wise. He's like, no, I think I'm going to have to run for the rest of my life. And my kid's going to be in danger. If he can't get me, he get my family members because they have no honor. So, a wise man wouldn't steal from a kingpin. You wouldn't be in his own facility, his own place. But anyway, a smart man, they're doing it. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because they can outsmart kingpins. Okay, you won. Now let me see if you can outrun him. I want to see you try. So 1 Kings chapter 9. So 1 Kings chapter 9, verse 28. And they came to Ophir and fetched from thence gold 420 talents and brought it to King Solomon. But the reason why they took that region over is because of the waters. The waters. If you look at a map from that region, then you will see like, oh, that's why Esau has the Suez Canal there. That's why Esau has the Panama Canal in Panama, because of traffic. And they can make like a 15 million a day in Suez Canal. I know they make more, but that's the one that they officially put there. They make you pay a toll just for using their. It's not highway. Well, it's a waterway. Anyway, so let me go back to. Yeah, so King Solomon had power over there in that region, and the Judites were there, and then the Most High caused the enemy of King Solomon to come and kick him out. Let me see some if I got it. I think it's 2 Kings 14. I don't know anymore. I'll just get this precept and then I'm done. Oh yeah, it's in 2 Kings 14. Oh, sorry. So 2 Kings 14. And I think it was verse 30. Oh, 22. 2 Kings 14:22. And he built Elath, which is the place of Esau. We took it over and restored it to Judah. After that, the king slept with his fathers. So there was a time when we took over the land of Esau. In the time of King Solomon, we took it over. And then after King Solomon, we lost it. And then then this one came, this Judite here, and then he restored it back to Judah. After that, then but wait, let me say it again. First, King Solomon took it over, and then he made his navy ship there, and he brought in gold from far and stuff like that. And then they started to walk inward, land inward, but he got it all the way from other places with the boat, brought it into the land of Yasharala, the land of Canaan. And then after that, King Solomon sinned, and then we lost it because Aram came and took it and put Esau back in that land. And yeah, and then after a while, we had wars again, and then they took it from Esau once more. Yeah, that's it. That's about it. Okay, let me now go back to where I was, which is yeah. What the hell? Oh yeah, Revelation. Okay, Revelation chapter 17, verse 17. For Yahweh had put in their hearts to fulfill his will. Exodus chapter 20, no, Proverbs chapter 20 or 21, where it says the minds of the heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord. He turneth it whithersoever he willeth, like a river and all that there. But the Most High is the one that decides if you're going to get angry or not. I'm going to give you an example. So the army of King Nebuchadnezzar, right? They left Judah, they left the Israelites in peace. They left them in peace and they went away. But then the Israelites started to sin against Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai by breaking a swear that they had made, and then they forswore themselves. And then the Most High was like, oh, okay. You can read this in Jeremiah 34. So they had made peace and left, but they made the Most High angry in due time that he left, and then the Most High turned him back, man. So on his way, on his way toward his own land, he was probably saying, man, we had a good conversation, man. We had a good conversation. And then the Most High was like, and then he said, and then he was probably on his horse going toward his house, still speaking good about them. Man, we had a good conversation, man. We didn't get the blows, we didn't get the war. But you know what? I don't know, something he said, kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I got irritated. You know what? Fuck that motherfucker. And then he went back. You can read that in the book of Jeremiah 34. It was the Most High that made him angry because the guy sinned. He did something. So the Most High, he raised up an adversary to. If you have an adversary toward you, the Most High did. Whether it be for his destruction or for your destruction, you're gonna have to find out. Pray to the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Because 1 Kings chapter 11 shows you that when Solomon started to sin, all of a sudden, just a random ass enemy started rising up against them. That's what you get, man. You're doing shit. So the Most High is going to raise up an enemy toward you, man. And also the scripture says that he that pleaseth the Most High, he keepeth even his enemies at peace with him. So you have that too. And also you have a third one, which is they just hate your guts by nature because they're Edomites. And of course other heathen nations and stuff like that. So just like with the good die young, just like with the righteous perisheth young and violently and stuff like that. And the people think like, he died, where's your God now? You have that one. But yet then you have the other one when the wicked die, where the wicked live long. Or they die also. So there's many things that could be the answer, because the good, Isaiah 57 speaks about that the righteous perisheth and no man taken it to heart. But then you have another one, which is Job 4 and 7. Was it 4? I think it was 4. Job 4 and 7, where it speaketh of the righteous are not left. But you have also Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3. You have Wisdom of Solomon chapter 4, where it speaks about that the one that are good in Yahweh Bashem Yashai, the Most High might take them out. You know? So it depends on what it is. If you have a spiritual eye, then you would understand like the Most High took them out because he didn't want them to suffer anymore. So he's like, no, come here with me. And then you have other people. Look, let me round it off. I think it's 2nd Ezra chapter 7, which speaks about you have judgment. You have judgment unto correction, and you have judgment unto punishment, but you have also judgment unto mercy, which is what the Most High had toward the son of Jeroboam, which is in the book of 1 Kings chapter 14. Let me read it for you. This was a mercy killing that the Heavenly Father had for the sons of Jeroboam, because he was going to exterminate his whole house. But only one son he had mercy upon, and he killed him too. He made him die with an illness, because the Heavenly Father made him sick. What was it again? So 1 Kings chapter 14, verse 10. Therefore, behold, I will bring evil upon the house of Jeroboam, and will cut off Jeroboam from him. And will cut off from Jeroboam him that pisseth against the wall, which is a man. I have a few precepts on that, but I'm not going to go into that, Lord willing. I did another video about that, the whole chapter, so I did it there. But the point is that it's talking about men. So, and I will cut off from Jeroboam him that pisseth against the wall, and him that is shut up and left in Israel. If you escaped and you made it, he's still going to get you. If you shut up, you shut up yourself against war and stuff like that, yeah, you're still not going to make it. It's like fleeing from a lion and then passing away from a bear, fleeing away from a bear, passing by a bear and fleeing from him also, going into a place, putting your hand on a wall, and the serpent bites you. Pop! That's what the Most High said right there. So let me read it again. 1 Kings chapter 14, verse 10. Therefore, behold, I will bring evil upon the house of Jeroboam, and will cut off from Jeroboam him that pisseth against the wall, and him that is shut up and left in Israel, and will take away the remnant of the house of Jeroboam. So even the leftovers of Jeroboam, the Most High is going to exterminate them. Yeah, he's going to put them away, because you have to understand, Jeroboam has a brother, he has a father. So as an individual house of Jeroboam, his house would be done away with. And if you read the book of Numbers chapter 27 and also Numbers chapter 36, it was I forgot his name. He was a Manassite, Zeholivat or something like that, and he had only daughters, 5 daughters. And then the daughters said unto Moses, Moses. She said, why should my father's name be done away with, because he had no sons? So we know that if you don't have a son, your individual household is bye-bye. Because all your daughters will receive a seed from another family, from another man, from another family, I wanted to say another nation. That's when you really screwed up. But they will receive another seed from another family into yours. So that's not your bloodline. That's his bloodline. It's your daughter or your grandchildren also, but it is still his bloodline that carries forth. All the children that come out of him and that started to make children, they're not your bloodline. They're his father's bloodline. Anyway, so let me see. It says here, and will take away the remnant of the house of Jeroboam as a man taketh away dung till it be all gone. But I have another one. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to read on verse 12. So 1 Kings chapter 14, verse 12. Arise thou therefore. I skipped 11, by the way. Let me see. I can read 11. So it says right here, verse 11. So 1 Kings 14:11. Him that died of Jeroboam in the city shall the dogs eat, and him that died in the field shall the fowls of the air eat, for Yahweh had spoken it. Verse 12. Arise thou therefore, get thee to thine own. Get thee to thine own house, and when thy feet entered into the city, the child shall die. But you need to read the rest to understand. So that's why I wanted to jump over it. But anyway, verse 13. This is the point. And all Israel shall mourn for him and bury him. For here's the point. For he only of Jeroboam shall come to the grave, because in him there is found some good thing toward Yahweh, the power of Israel, in the house of Jeroboam. So all the sons of Jeroboam, the Most High already know, like, these guys are wicked, and I'm gonna make them die very horribly. They're gonna die, and the dogs gonna eat their dead body, and birds gonna pick out their eyes and stuff like that. I saw a movie one time where you had a crow picking out the eye of a dead person. That shit was funny. It was a movie. I think it was a manga, actually. I don't even know anymore. I saw it a long time ago. I think it was a manga. Them Japanese mangas from the 90s. Not that fluff little colorful bullshit that they have nowadays, where a boy changed into a girl and then they call it Naruto. Actually is Naruto, but they call it sexy ninjutsu. This guy be changing into a woman, trying to stun lock the men, and then they bleed out the nose and stuff like that. And you have some of them asking them, like, change into a woman, just let me feel pleasure. Yeah, that was about that time that I looked at that thing. I was like, nah, that's not for me. I got in like 20 episodes deep. I saw that shit and I was like, I don't think I should be watching. No, it wasn't 20 deep. I think it was 53. And he did it a few times, but I wasn't thinking. There was more than 10 years. There was a long time ago. I think it was in like 2000s. I don't even know anymore. I think it was like 20 years ago. So I saw that thing. I didn't think. It was one day when I think I was smoking weed that around that time. I still was smoking weed. And I smoked weed, right? And I don't know, man, when I smoke weed, I start to get into a genius or something like that. I start thinking all kind of shit. Anyway, I smoked. And then I started thinking about that little manga that I just saw, that cartoon. And then what happened was, I started thinking like, hey, wait a minute, he just changed into a girl. Let's say you was friends with him. You see what I'm saying? I was like, man, I shouldn't be watching that garbage, man. He changed into a girl with that sexy ninjutsu shit. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Hey, yo, what the fuck? I never watched that shit again. Naruto, he can change into a girl, man. And they call it sexy ninjutsu. And he taught a little boy also. He taught that same shit. So he was doing it too, turning himself into that sexy ninjutsu thing. So there was two of them. Oh man, that's when I realized, like, hey, wait a minute. I don't think it's a good idea for me to be watching this shit, man. And I stopped right there, episode 50 or something, or 53. I remember the fight of Rock Lee, Bruce Lee, basically. Anyway, so let me read it again. So 1 Kings 14:13. And all Israel shall mourn for him and bury him, for he only of Jeroboam shall come to the grave, because in him is found some good thing toward Yahweh, the power of Israel, in the house of Jeroboam. So he was the only one that deserved to die and be buried. And if you read in the book, at verse 11, verse 11, it says, let me read it again, him that died of Jeroboam in the city shall the dogs eat, and him that died in the field shall the fowls of the air eat, for Yahweh had spoken it. So what does that show you? It shows you that even though the Most High smokes you, he still had honor unto you, and let you at least die in a burial and be put respectfully into the ground and no animals be feasting on you and stuff like that. You know? Just like when Saul, his sons died, got hung. You had that woman, I think it was his mother, their mother. You had her shooing off the birds and the dogs, the wild beasts that wanted to actually feast upon them, their dead bodies. And she shooed them, kept on shooting them for a few days. And then King David heard about it. And then he sent and took the bones from Saul and his sons and put them together in a grave and then buried them together. So that shows you that we as a nation don't do cremations. That's Esau, and nowadays he's forcing you because he's making you pay crazy amounts of money. I didn't even know this, man. I didn't even know. I found out like a few months ago. Did you know that actually if you want to bury somebody, you gotta already pay like $7,000 to $9,000? What? I did not know that. So I'm not thinking of death, like being buried and shit. I heard that shit. I go, what the hell? And then I looked it up, and it starts at like $7,000 to $9,000 for burial, a coffin. That's some big business right there, man. You know, just to put you in the ground, they ask you, give me $10,000 just to be buried. That's crazy. That don't make no damn sense. And then you have to keep on paying them too to keep you there. Because if you stop paying at one point in time, they say, yeah, you need to pay for maintenance to clean up the grave. It's a grave. What are you talking about? That's why we didn't have coffins back in the days, or we had a sepulcher. But I mean, like if you're a regular Israelite, they would just bury you into the ground, and that's it. That's why you had in the time of the Lord Yahushua, you had them coming up out the grave too. Because if there wasn't a coffin, they'd be knocking. Hey man, let me off. I'm suffocating. That didn't happen, and it wasn't 6 feet deep. You know, it was a fair amount to where if you just dig a little bit, you could see it. You know, Esau came with that 6 feet deep. Everything about him is 6. You know, but anyway, so let me get back to it and finish this off. So we in that time or so now, I just jumped into a whole nother topic. But as Lord willing is good. It's good. You know, I hope it was good, right? Was it as good for you as well for me? Just playing around. Revelation 17 and 17. For the Most High had put in their hearts to fulfill His will, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. So it's only for a small season, man. Yeah, my mouth is dry, man. And I forgot that I had water too. That's just dry as shit, man. Alright, so it says right here, verse 17, for Yahweh had put in their hearts to fulfill His will, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High be fulfilled. So, let me get that one here too. I'm going to wrap it up with that one. So it says right here, and the woman which thou sawest, the rest of 17, until the words of the Most High be fulfilled. So what is He doing? Let me read it again. Revelation 17 and 17. For Yahweh had put in their hearts, their minds. Because you don't think with your heart, you think with your mind. The heart is a muscle that pumps blood. If you think that you think with your heart, then you also believe you think with your dick. Because it has a will of its own sometimes. You might be looking at a girl, all of a sudden you get a standing ovation. You'd be like, I don't even like you. I'm not, you know, I damn sure don't love you. But you have certain women, right? Certain women are beautiful, but they're not sexy. Right? Certain women are beautiful, but they're not sexy. And certain, you look at them, you don't feel anything. You'd be like, eh, you know. That bird, man, last time that bird shot on me, man. You're doing it again. Anyway, you have some of them, they're beautiful, but they're not sexy. But then you have certain ones that, well, let me say it different. Let me say it normally. They're not beautiful, but they're sexy. But they attract you. So there's a difference. I've seen so many beautiful women. I'm looking at them like, why are you? What? What's the? I don't. What would I do to you? What would I do with you? Sorry, not. I know what I would do with you. There's something else. But what would I do with you? You're just there like a trophy. You know, especially when they have these big coats on with fur. I didn't even see it. Wow. Well, I didn't even see it. But this is not real fur. But I just said fur and they just popped up. I had no idea. Well, when you speak of the devil, right? When you speak of something, I didn't even see it. Anyway, let me finish this off, man. So, for Yahweh had put in their heart to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city. So here you see that the woman is the city. Well, let me finish it up. And verse 19, so Revelation 17:19. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. That's America. They're the ones that reigning over the kings of the earth because they have their last saying. But now the kings of the earth are starting to resist. You already have Europe, like a few European countries, NATO basically. They are already in Greenland trying to defend Greenland and stuff like that. Especially Denmark is there, you know. And I'm sure that when the soldiers go over there and they meet with them, they'd be like, "Hey man, what are you doing here?" You know, because they're gonna have a battle with one another, and that's the starting of the scripture right here, right? So let me finish it off with let me see a few other super chats. Let me see right there. Oh yeah, Ezekiel chapter 23 verse 29. Now this is talking about Jacob, but like the Most High said, all the curses that came upon Jacob in the book of Deuteronomy 28 are the same curse. Deuteronomy 30 and 7. Sorry. Well, the curses of 28, but I'm actually talking about Deuteronomy chapter 30, which is 30, verse 7. Okay? So it says there that all the curses that come upon thee shall come upon thy enemies and on them that persecute thee, and all that there. And the curses shall overtake them, just like how it overtook us. So it says right here, Ezekiel 23 and 29 again. This is for the whole chapter is talking about the Jacob descendants. Yeah, the whole chapter is talking about Jacob and the punishment that shall come upon her. But now, in this chapter, by the way, Ezekiel 23, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom are represented as two women, right? And America, that great war, is also represented as a woman, right? So now I'm gonna read this, Ezekiel 23, verse 29. And they shall deal with thee hatefully, and shall take away all thy labor. All that you worked for, they're going to take away. It happened already to Jacob. Until this day, they're doing it. Did you know something of the copyright and masters and stuff like that with the music? If you look at Motown and stuff like that, none of the Jacob descendants own anything. All the Edomites and Amalek own all the productions and the masters, and they have the copyrights and all these type of things. All the Edomites own it. That's in Jeremiah chapter 25 verse 14. It shows you that they own everything that we have. You have a few Jacob descendants that are trying to get their own stuff. Sam Cooke was one of them. That's why he's gone. You know, they set him up because he was trying to get his masters, and in that day and time, they was not having it. He died that day. Well, not that exact day, but he died because of that. They set him up with a hoe. He loved to fuck hoes. That's what's up. But anyway, let me go on. So it says right here, and shall take away all his labor, and shall leave thee naked and bare. Well, take away all thy labor. Sorry. And shall leave thee naked and bare, and the nakedness of thy whoredoms shall be discovered, both thy lewdness and thy whoredoms. And that's exactly what's happening to America right now, because she's that great whore that the scripture speaks about, that the Most High is going to burn with fire. And it's going to set them up against each other, one by one, individually. That's why they say America is more divided now than it ever was before. It was already fucking divided. It's talking about them. They're divided. The Democrats and the Republicans. They hate everybody in that country. The Native Americans, the Afro, the Japanese, they hate everybody. So the country was founded on division. That's not what they're talking about when they say America is now more divided than ever before. They're talking about themselves. They're talking about themselves. So when you read an article headline like that, you think to yourself, what kind of stupid shit is that? That's not what they're saying. You got to read between the snake tongue. When they say America is now more divided than ever, they're talking about themselves. Because back in the days, they was together. There was a group hating on somebody else, but now they hating on each other. That's why Renee Goodman, I think her name was Goodman, that's an example of how, man, if you see what these other people are saying that are for Trump and stuff like that about her, you would think she was a Jacob descendant man that was in the OJ case or some shit like that. In a modern day OJ case. That's how they celebrate her death. I'm looking at it like, damn, you must needs be really angry at that woman. You must needs be. You must start talking like that. Right? So let me read a few scriptures right here as the last ones. So Matthew chapter 24, verse 3 until 8, which is Matthew 3:28. No, I don't need to read everything. I'll just go to the point. Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. That's already happening right now, all over the place. So I'm gonna jump to 14. So on Matthew 24 and 14 and 15. So it says right here, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached into all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. This gospel was already, wait, let me say it better. The teachings of Caesar Borgia was spread so hard throughout the world that everybody on the planet Earth is using bleach right now. I just looked at an Ammonite female, and she was paler than every white chick that I seen today. And it's already, what time is it? 5 o'clock? 6 o'clock? 5 o'clock. So the day is almost spent because the sun is going down. As you can see, you can't see it in my face anymore. So it's going down. But anyway, she's more paler than them. So, how do you think that happened? I have also videos, pictures of the Greenlanders. Sorry, I make up something. I have also a picture of the Greenlanders, how they used to look. And I had to adjust the screen color. I was like, what the fuck? They look darker than me. Shit, I was like, what the fuck? That's not possible. They're not darker than me, but they look fucking dark, I'll tell you that. And then I will show you a picture of the modern day Greenlanders. I keep on saying Iceland, what the fuck? The modern day Greenlanders. And then you look at them, you'd be like, yeah, you can see Esau in them. I'll show you the faces. You'd be like, yeah, that's Esau. Or your forefathers mixed with Esau. Either way, either you're Edomite, you're a Tyr Bebe, or your forefather slept with an Edomite. Either way. A lot of times it's actually other way around. You don't see a lot of Native American men with a like white woman, but you see a lot of Edomite males with natives, whether it be from Canada, whether it be from America, North America. Not often, actually, I should say. Okay, I don't know about North America, but I do know about Canada. And I do also know about South America. You know? They be fucking. That's the truth. So a lot of them are goddamn tear babies. Which is funny. What's up, man? Which is funny as hell. So it says right here. I don't feel myself. No. Let's go. Right. So it says right here. Oh yeah. Matthew 24:14. I already read that. But let me read it again. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Caesar Borgia is all over the world. That's why they're trying to build themselves. You know? It's all over the world. So it's not talking about that. Because or else the end would have been come a long time ago. But since nowadays the Jacob descendant truth, the real gospel, is being spread, so now you see these ends are coming. You know, he's threatening Iran, which I have learned since 2007. Since 2007, I have learned that the threat of Iran is a big thing. I learned about that in 2007. So it was the eldest at Great Millstone and stuff like that. It's not news because I wasn't paying attention. It was in the news to a certain degree. It was threatening and talking about it, but I wasn't paying attention, man. It's when I started to learn these scriptures, that's when I started to pay attention. But anyway, so yeah, that goes also for people that say if you don't know the name, the Most High ain't dealing with you. You need to slap yourself, man. That's one of the dumbest things you could ever say, because I didn't know the name. Well, I hope the Lord was dealing with me. Let me say it different. You have a lot of Jacob descendants that are now in his truth, great teachers, you know the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You could tell by looking at them like, yeah, this is a man of the Lord. Well, you know what? I don't know. But you know, I just think, whatever. I don't know anything. For sure. I just think. Hey, I think that's a man of the Lord. But anyway, all of them didn't know the name. So you mean to tell me that the Most High was not dealing with them? He always was dealing with them, even if they didn't know the name, man. You know, but there is a truth to that. A lot of people here that don't know the name of the Most High ain't dealing with you. Even people that do know the name Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Most High ain't dealing with you. Yeah, you know, Most High ain't dealing with you. Just because you know the name, and just because you don't know the name, that doesn't mean that the Most High ain't dealing with you. He will bring you eventually into this truth, having the name. So don't forget that, because the name is important. Is it this scripture here? Is the scripture? I think it's in Acts 14 or something, where it says that Acts 14:12, where it says that there's no salvation in any other, but one other name under heaven given among men, whereby we must be saved. Yeah. Yeah.
Every time this place, and I thought I had to see you also as well, right?
Yeah.
So what you do? Explain.
Teaching the Bible.
Okay. So you're going from the school.
Yeah.
Okay.
YouTube.
Have a nice day.
That's cool. Yeah, man. That's
Sorry,
good. That's
sorry
good.
for the
No, no worries.
I was just curious.
No, that's good. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, man. So, okay. I do actually get it a lot. Like a lot of people, they see me be like, "Hey, man." Da-da-da-da. Anyway, I know you from somewhere. Yeah, you probably do. Right, Lord willing. Okay, let me read on. So it says right here, Matthew 24:15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, you could see it coming, right? Spoken of by Daniel the prophet. Stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. So when you start reading these scriptures, Lord willing, through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, you're going to understand, because you're going to have that spirit put upon you in order for you to understand. So you're going to look at scriptures, you're going to look at people, you're going to analyze them, you're going to see stuff. You know? I might look at a person and I don't like you. I don't know, I just don't like you. And everybody has that. A lot of people look at me, they don't like me. I don't give a shit. I don't actually care. I don't care. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So now going to the last verses, which is Matthew 24 until 21. Sorry, Matthew 24, 21 until 27. So 21, Matthew 24, verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as not since what? Such as was not since the beginning of the world, and this time no, nor ever shall be. Now you might think this is a contradiction because it already happened back then. Because it already happened back then, and because that was the time of 70 A.D. when we had to flee from Jerusalem from Titus and Vespasian. We had to flee from them around 70 AD, and then we fled into the interiors of Africa, where we stayed for like 1,000 years and lost. We didn't lose everything there, because you still had Fort Judah, Fort Benjamin, and yeah. Let me see what more. You still had Jacob descendants all about. But then, in the northwest of West Africa, sorry, in the northwest of Africa, I wanted to say in the north side of West Africa, whatever. There, you had the Moors that slowly but surely started to lose their their belief, and then they started to follow Islam. So you had that group too, and then the more up north they went, the more Islam they became. And then the one that stayed in West Africa, those were the ones that were the Moors. They would call them Moreno, which is black. It's just black. It's not a race. But you had different countries: Libya, Morocco, Spain, Portugal, Tunisia, Mali, the West Sahara Desert. They were there too. And then slowly, of course, they moved downward to Congo and all these type of places. But it started with West Africa. Anyway, and along the way, they stayed in like toward West Africa. You have, of course, you come across Middle Africa. You had Israelites leave themselves there, while the rest of the bulk. So along the passage that they took, you had Israelites sprinting off, like how you have a tree and then it branches off. So you had them there in the midst from Israel, Mizraim, and then Middle Africa, and then West Africa. Along that whole path, you had Israelites branching off left and right and stuff like that. So yeah, but the bulk of them, they stayed in West Africa, and of course they went to Southwest Africa, which is Congo and places like that. Stayed there. But Esau, the Most High, put the spirit on Esau to go get them there, man. Even though they're hiding amongst the Hamites, they got their ass right there, because Belgium, he sure showed them. They was the ones that was left. These one, their ancestors was fast enough to escape. So the Most High was like, "Oh, you escaped? None of you that is left behind is going to escape the judgment of Yahweh Bashem El-Shai." So he sent King Leopold upon them over there from Belgium. He sent them for there, while the other ones, me, was captive in South America. Anyway, taken from West Africa. Because there's a language over there that I can understand. I haven't seen it yet, I haven't heard anything about it, but I saw it one time on television when I was young. When they talked, I understood them. I was like, what the fuck? So I know that language that I speak is from there. You have many languages over there, man. Like, it's so crazy. But I understood these people. And that's when I knew that the things that they saying, talking about the language that I speak is a mix with Syrian. Shut the fuck up with that shit, man. You're straight up from West Africa, man. And there's a language and a people over there called Koromanti people. I don't understand that. But they came after 400 years. There's a documentary done about it. After 400 years, they came to Suriname. And then the guy was talking his language. Right? And then he came to there 400 years later, and they could still talk the same language. He started crying, man. He was like, damn, y'all keep the same customs here in Suriname, which is Dutch Guyana, as we do there in Africa. But you have to understand, there's different type of groups in Suriname. You got the Alkan, you got the Saramakan, and then you got me. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. Let me finish this off. Right, so Matthew 24, yeah, 24 and 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So the Most High is going to speed up the times, man. It's in need, because I saw some crazy stuff that they're doing. If you watch this movie called Alien, right? They do a lot of DNA splicing and stuff like that. That's actually what they're actually doing. I never saw these movies in the 90s because I don't watch devil shit. I watched horror movies. I'm like, no, I don't watch that shit, man. Crazy. But now I'm older. I still don't like that thing. But somebody put me on it, a girl. So I watched it. This is the year. Yeah, this is the first year that I actually started watching Alien. 2026. Can you imagine that shit? This is when I started watching Alien for the first time in my life. I don't watch horror movies, man. But I don't know. But anyway, so I watched it and I was looking at it. And but now I have, Lord willing, I have that spiritual eye. Lord willing, I just think different. So I watched it and I started thinking like, oh, that's what he's doing. He's trying to create a new race with that DNA of that creature, but at the same time, he's trying to extract immortality from that thing, basically longevity and long life and stuff like that, while at the same time killing the rest of the people. There's so many information that you can get out of that movie and makes you think like, well, that's what you devils are doing. You're doing some gene splicing bullshit and stuff like that. It's crazy. That's crazy. They're splicing genes and doing all, it's not really cloning, but they're busy with that. But anyway, let me finish it. So I don't think I need to read all that. I don't think I need to read all that. Yeah. I wanted to read Matthew 24, verse 21 until 51. Don't need to read all that. The point is clear, Yahweh. The point is that I'm gonna just finish off in my telephone. I don't need the book no more. So it's basically, he's a good man, and okay, I'm gonna read through. So Matthew 24 and 30. I'll just go to the point. Verse 32. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. Now, why is the fig tree so prominent in the scriptures? Because a fig is representative of one Jacob descendant that has many seeds. Because a fig fruit, has plenty of seed within it. Now, back in the days, it was more like more than 1,000 in one thing, one fruit. And the pomegranate also has it. Pomegranate, they call it grenade apple in the Netherlands. Grenade apple, because it has all these shards in it. It looks like, it's like a bomb or something. I don't know, they associate it with a bomb. Whatever. I'm sure that was not the name of the fruit, because they didn't have grenades in the time that they named it. They most likely saw it, it had another name, and then they opened it. By that time, they already knew what a grenade looks like, so then they called it a grenade apple. And in Dutch, they call it a grenade apple, but then you have to translate it literally into the Dutch, which is then grenade apple. Anyway, pomegranate, something like that. That's also full of seed. And if you look at the palm trees, it's also full of seed. Just type in Google palm tree fruit. You will see different type of, there's more than 2,600 palm trees, and not all of them have fruit, but a big chunk of them have fruit. And when they do have fruit, man, you could feed, from one tree, you could feed a lot of people. You can feed, and from that same tree, one tree, you can plant like maybe, hey man, I don't know, you can plant like more than 1,000 trees, man, off of one season. That's how many seeds will come out of one palm tree. So one palm tree, one pomegranate, which a grenade apple, the thing that you eat with a lot of seeds in it, and one fig tree, fig fruit. That's the Jacob descendants right there, man. One shall turn into 1,000, something more. Anyway, because of the seeds, you know. Y'all shall be as the sand of the seas. Anyway, let me finish it off. So it says here in Matthew 24 and 32. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. Of course, because you can see it. Well, let me read on. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the door. So when we see Trump making these threats, World War III is in the midst, man. World War III is close. It's in the midst. He's threatening Greenland, which is also a sign of they're going to fight within each other. These shall all hate the whore and burn her with fire. That's talking about, of course, America and NATO. They're getting in each other's faces, I should say. Yeah. They're getting in each other's faces. So it says right here, yeah, I don't need to read that. Yeah, that's it. So let me read it again and shut it off. So Matthew 24 and 32. Now, learn a parable of the fig trees. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh, because you can see it, right? Verse 33. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the door. And what is near? The end. Because Matthew 24, verse 3. Because I'm in the same chapter. I read 32 just then. But if you go to verse 4, well, verse 3 and 4 and stuff like that, it talks about the end of time and when Yahushua is going to come back. Well, you can look just like how you see it on the tree starting to turn brown because a little leaf, you know, it's little cute little green, very bright green, but as it gets older it starts to turn into dark green. But anyway, you see a baby tree when you see it. You know that the spring is nigh, or summer. You can see that too. You know when the autumn, you know when the winter is coming by autumn, because it starts raining more often to get the water ready for the other months that it will not really rain, and so it gets the water into the ground already as a preservative. Like, I'll give you water now because in a few months I won't really rain. And that's the same thing with the so then when you see the autumn, you know the spring, the summer. Sorry, man. You know that the winter is coming because you see the leaves falling off. So you know it's about to get cold. So you start getting ready, chopping up the wood. Don't be like a slug. And in the time of winter time, then you go out there and then you chop wood. Your hands are gonna hurt. Working out there in the heat, in the heat of the moment. In the ice. So you do that in the time of autumn. Go out there, do your little thing, and then you set up. Well, that's the same thing with the scriptures. Yeah, we know that Yahushua is near because the war and the threat of Iran and the threat of Greenland. You know that the war is near. The Matthew Revelation 17 is for the Greenland, and Ezekiel 32 is for Iran. I didn't go into that one. But I mentioned it, so Lord willing, you can go into it if you want to, if you have that time. Or yeah. It's just too many. But it's good, man, because the labor is plenteous and laborers are few. So with that, I'm going to give all praises to the Most High Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rawak Badash. Double honors unto the elder apostles at Great Millstone for the teachings of the scriptures, among other things. And shalom to the sincere outcome across the world. Shalom, shalom. I was being busy. So with that, I'm going to say shalom.